Jeff has a monthly budget for entertainment of $150. It costs $15 for a night at the movies and $10 for an evening of bowling. Assuming he doesn't use up any of his entertainment budget on other activities, develop and graph a system of inequalities to represent the ways that he can spend his money. He does not have to spend all of the money. Here we have to use the information provided to develop a system of inequalities. We first introduce the variables to represent the number of nights at the movies and the number of evenings of bowling. We can then use these variables to develop the system of inequalities to represent the situation. We then graph the resulting system of inequalities. For this case, I'll use X to represent the number of nights at the movies, and Y to represent the number of evenings of bowling. Since each night at the movies costs $15 and each evening of bowling costs $10, we can come up with the inequality 15x plus 10y must be less than or equal to 150. We also have two additional inequalities. X must be greater than or equal to 0 because he cannot have a negative number of nights at the movies. Similarly, Y, the number of evenings of bowling, must also be greater than or equal to 0. We now have to graph these inequalities. Looking at the first one, 15x plus 10y less than or equal to 150, we would graph the boundary line 15x plus 10y equals 150. To do this, I'll figure out the x and y intercepts of this straight line. Using a scale of 1 square corresponding to 1 unit, the x-intercept corresponding to a y value of 0 would be 10. The y-intercept corresponding to x equals 0 would give y equals 15. We then have the x and y-intercepts. We connect these with a straight line, making sure that it is a solid line since the inequality symbol is less than or equal to. We then plot the other inequality boundary lines. For x greater than or equal to 0, we plot the line x equals 0. This corresponds to a vertical line, which is the exact same as the y-axis. For y greater than 0, we would plot y equals 0. This is a horizontal line, which is the same as the x-axis. We then have to shade in the corresponding region. In this case, the region of interest would be greater than or equal to 0 and greater than or equal to 0 for both x and y. This corresponds to the triangular region in between these three boundary lines.